Hello and welcome to the super important show. Tonight, the chicken who lives outside of Popeyes, nobody tell him what's inside. Then it turns out the motion of the ocean is just fish doing it. And also trivia that'll bring you closer to Jesus, I promise. Plus much, much more. But first, I'm your host, Destin Diodato, and to figure all these things out, let me introduce you to my two amazing co-hosts. First, she's the jewel of our Nile, Heather Jules Booth. Heather Jules Booth, how are you?
I am here. It's Monday. We got crazy stories to talk about. Yeah.
Cool. Plus, our special guest, put your virtual hands together for the comedy lion that is Leo Bowen. Leo, how are you?
I'm doing well. That's the first time I've ever been called a comedy lion.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, am I wrong? I don't think that I'm wrong. I think you are a comedy lion.
Chat, if you disagree, let me know.
Can you imagine someone in the chat is like, excuse me.
Yeah.
What a great,
King
I think
of
that's such
comedy,
a great.
not king of the jungle of comedy.
How's everybody doing? What's going on? Everybody having a fun Monday?
Yeah, I got stuck in my building's elevator earlier in the afternoon.
No. Oh,
It's fine.
That's terrifying.
I'm okay now. I'm out of it now.
Right. But still, how long were you in there?
This time only like 5 minutes, which was
This
nice.
time? This
Yeah,
time?
Yeah.
Oh no.
What floor are you on?
I'm on the 5th floor of my building.
So it's not enough where you're just like, fuck it, I'll walk it because...
Most of the time I do. I went to get groceries.
Okay.
So I was coming back with 2 things of seltzer. I got 12 cans. They were 2 for $10. So, deal.
Yeah.
Can't
That's
resist
the
it.
deal. Yeah.
So before we get to our show, can you let the audience who might not know you know who is Leo?
Yeah, Leo. A question we all have to ask ourselves: who is Leo?
It is deep.
I am a performer, a writer, sometimes also an actor, an improviser. A lot of these also roll up into performer, but I'm a guy who likes to have a good time, and that's how I'll summarize that.
All right. Heather, do you want to get us into? You want to get us into our first story?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. Yeah. So I got that World You Crazy. Hey, everybody. Here's a story that you're going to think I made up because it sounds like a Heather story, but I didn't make it up. This story is called Stray Chicken Now Lives at Popeyes Chicken Restaurant. Yes, everybody. A stray chicken, specifically a stray rooster, showed up at a Popeyes in Slidell, Louisiana, and they adopted this bird and named him Rocco. They've now built him a little chicken coop beside the drive-thru, and they said that it has driven business because people come through the drive-thru and see the chicken. It's increased sales. People come in. They said they've made new friends because people just come by to see Rocco. Yeah. So this chicken. Oh, and the chicken appeared after Hurricane Ida. So they had Hurricane Ida, and this chicken appeared.
That is so funny to me that it increased sales to see a live chicken outside of the chicken restaurant.
Right? Yeah. It's like it is its own sketch that is written itself.
Yep.
And then it's like I'm thinking, like, what are the people who are coming by who are like, I'm gonna go see? Are they coming by because they're like, that's really cute? Or are they coming by because they're like train wreck watchers where they're like, is today the day that the chicken's gonna end up in my food? Like, what are they? Like, yeah. I have questions about the business that this has increased. Right. Or I guess people just think it's, there you go. Yeah, right. They need to see it before.
Yeah.
But also, like, that also makes me question too, like, you want to be like, oh, look at it walking around. Yep, there it is on my plate.
Right. But shouldn't sympathy come into play? Like, at a certain point?
You would.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing so hard, because I recognized the absurdity of, oh yeah, I'm coming to Popeyes so I can see this chicken, and then I'm going to go eat its family.
Yeah, this chicken that has a little coop. Just a cute little coop that it just
And
hangs
your
out
name,
in. Rocco.
Rocco.
Yeah.
Rocco.
Which also several questions about the name Rocco.
I also wondered where that came from. Like, what was the reasoning behind that?
Michelle's got an opinion on this. She feels like it's a metaphor. If somebody can read that, because it's very tiny and I can't read it, but it's
Metaphor
true.
for self-destructive tendencies, in parentheses, tenderseeds, like chicken
Boo.
tenders.
Yeah, that's a good
Good on
point.
you, Michelle, of humanity.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Morning Rose pointing out that's like putting a cow outside of Mickey D's. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Although in both cases, I think the percentage of those animals that's actually in the food is surprisingly low. Although I would argue probably greater at Popeyes. There's probably more chicken in the chicken
At
in-
Popeyes.
at Popeyes than there's
think
meat.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is disturbing.
Well, you know.
Do you want to see?
Oh, yes, I've been waiting for this picture of majestic Rocco. Please. Rocco's
Yes.
like, let me in. You don't want to do it, buddy. Don't do it. Don't go in.
Waiting in line patiently to eat his chicken.
It's okay.
Like, do animals I guess like animals don't know much because they're animals, but like, is there a way
don't know
in
that.
which the chicken would know that, like, oh fuck, that's chicken? Like is there?
Look, I'm not a chicken. Surprise. I can't speak to the truth of what a chicken's going to experience. I do know that I've heard of people who own chickens or like rescue chickens who will quietly feed the chickens mashed up eggshells from like other chickens, because apparently it's a very good source of protein. Don't quote me on that. I think it's protein is what I've heard. And that the chickens like eat it just fine. And they're like, that's delicious. I don't think they said that, but
It's cruel.
That was a plot point in The Social Network.
That
chickens eating
Feeding chicken to a chicken and having it be an animal rights issue.
and then the chicken being like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, allegedly the chicken was never fed chicken or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah. But I don't know, Dustin. I wonder that because, like, if we think of us as humans, if somebody like cooked us up really well, are we gonna know? If we weren't told and someone served us, like, would we actually know? I don't know.
Well, I mean, that would depend, I think, on the shape of it. Like, I admit that I would not know, like, what human meat looks like. But if I saw,
served you a finger, you would be like, oh.
right, if somebody had like a leg, like on the table, I would be like, hey, that's probably a leg. That's probably a human. No, thank you. So, but again, I'm also human, so I have the capacity to figure that out. But like, yeah, but if it was just like ground up human, I probably would not necessarily know. But like, I don't know what cooked human tastes like, and I hope to never find out. So
That simultaneously makes me think of Sweeney Todd.
Yes,
Love Its
same.
Pies. And I was just rewatching an episode of South Park where Cartman makes this other kid eat his parents in chili.
yeah, that's dark as fuck. I thought they were gonna spin that out of that, but they didn't. It was just dark.
No. It's
And they just lived, they sat in it and that was it?
yeah, no, I made you eat your parents.
Yeah, and then it fucking ends, and you're just like, wait, what?
wild.
Like,
It's wild.
What?
Like, if
It's
anyone's
so
gonna do
crazy.
that, it's gonna be South Park.
okay,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
In like season 5 of South Park too. It's very
Wow.
early on.
I'm going to social for a minute here because I feel like my image has been skewed. Because like Morning Roast is saying, if anyone knows what human meat looks like, it's Dustin. What about me would indicate
You got
that?
morning roasted.
Yeah, and then Michelle
Yeah,
saying
talk about being
I'm protesting too
Yeah,
much.
see? See?
Yeah, out of the three hosts, Dustin's most likely to eat human. What about that? That is flagrantly wrong. I only eat like 3 fucking things, and none of them are human. I don't like.
Are they,
So
though?
who
Do
do
you know?
you think of the 3 of us is most likely to eat human?
Yeah. Great question.
I don't know. Well, don't do that because now I have to pick somebody, and I have to like look you in the eye. I'm just saying that like somehow somehow I've gotten this, like,
Dustin doesn't
Yeah.
want to admit that he knows
Right.
it's himself.
right. And Joy is saying that I know, which means Joy is feeding me human, which is then a whole other sort of thing, which also doesn't make sense because I cook for myself, which means she's sneaking human into my food. It's all very suspicious. I mean, I guess probably I do have to say me because I can't throw our guest under the bus, and Heather's a vegetarian, so I guess yes. All right, fine, chat. I am voted most likely to eat human, although I don't even eat pork. I'm not gonna
You
eat
heard it here
human.
first.
But yeah, that'll be the poll clip, I guess. That'll be the clip that, like, you know, gets me fired from a job. Thank you all very much. I guess I'm the human eating person.
Well, of the three of us, most likely to eat human.
Right.
I wouldn't allege that you've eaten human. Who knows? I couldn't say that for sure.
I mean, morning roast again coming at me.
I just looked at the chat. Everyone's coming for you, Dustin.
Right,
It's true.
right. What the fuck is going on here, people? I liked you. I liked all of you, and now I don't even know.
That's the first step to us ending up on a plate.
No,
Ooh.
I don't. Let's move on. Let's move on to something that's not this story.
Move on.
Eating people.
Yeah, that's not cannibalism, because I control all the little buttons. So we're moving on to our second story about fish doing it. And somehow it's going to be that I'm the one most likely to have sex with a fish, too. And guess what? I'm not, but I'm not going to say who the other person is. Leo, go get him.
All right. A mystery. Chat, tell us who's most likely to screw a fish. So, yeah, this story definitely catches the eye. The headline, some fish cause Earth's oceans to move during sex. Anchovies in particular, which anchovies are very small fish.
Right. So it's a volume game, I guess.
It must be. I admittedly didn't read too much, but when some fish get busy, they can make the ocean move, according to a study. It makes me wonder, how do I get that as a job, where I study the correlation between fish having sex and the movements of the ocean?
Yeah,
Is
seriously.
that marine biology? Is that, like, what is going on there?
Right. It feels like a thing
Anchovies in
you're just.
particular cause such a stir.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. I want to hear more.
No, I was just. How are you not guessing? Because, like, you don't know how many fish are doing it at the same time. Like, you don't know how much the ocean would have moved absent anchovies doing it. Like, I guess they look at the top of the water. I don't know. Like, that's, and like, I would assume, maybe I'm just applying human things, but I would assume that anchovies would do it less if people were watching. But maybe that's just my Puritan, like, or whatever.
You're just putting your own Puritan, who knows? I mean,
Right.
You're just projecting.
yeah. Anchovies got years of being put on pizzas, so maybe they're just like,
Live while we can.
yeah, live while we can. Oh my God, no, I'm fascinated by, because I agree. Like, how does one not just get that job, but like, how do you stumble into, or I assume you choose to focus on that as a study? That's fascinating.
Right.
Like,
That's not just
one-
something you happen upon, I think.
no, you definitely do. I don't think there's some child that's like, I mean, I don't know. I can't, there's billions of people on the planet, but I can't imagine some child just wakes up one day and is like, someday I'm going to study fish doing it in the ocean. So like, it makes me think that there's obviously some scientist that was just studying fish in the ocean. And like, what was the moment where they went, wait a minute, why is the ocean moving? Is this fish fucking? What's happening?
Okay. The study team monitored water turbulence.
It's a team.
Yeah.
It's a
In
team.
a bay in the northwest coast of the Iberian Peninsula for 15 days. Using an instrument called a microstructure profiler, the team was able to monitor tiny variations in current speed and temperature. Their analysis revealed that despite the weather staying calm throughout the 15 days, turbulence within the water increased every night as fish gathered in the bay. Samples collected with fishing nets revealed huge numbers of recently spawned eggs of European anchovy.
Wow. Wow.
That suggested the frantic behavior of the anchovies was responsible.
Wow.
So it's a guess. It's just a guess.
Yeah. So it's a guess that they're like, oh, these anchovies must be up to something.
For the record, I'm going to go to social one more time. I'm going to Naomi because, hey guys, I control what goes on the screen. So stop writing things that are mean to me, because it's mean. Naomi pointing out, I hope fish don't think about humans when they're having sex. They should focus on themselves. Yeah, you're right. I think they should, but like everything's trying to kill you all the time. So like if you're in the ocean, so you got to be thinking about a lot of stuff.
My other question. And I thought I knew the answer to this, but now I'm thinking I don't. Mm-hmm. And I also don't particularly want to Google this later, but like, how do fish have sex? Like,
gently?
I just thought I mean, but not gently enough because the ocean's getting moved.
Well, that's anchovies, as far as we know. It's just
anchovies. Those anchovies. Those raucous anchovies.
Right, because you're right though. I would have assumed that they were like more gradual, but it seems like they're into the rough stuff if they're changing the ocean.
Yeah, they're changing that ocean.
Or there's, like you said before, there's just such a sheer number of them that it's so powerful, and they're all, I would assume, synchronized. If it's like,
if it's affecting the ocean in a way that can be like traced,
So you're saying it's not just fish doing it; it's fish orgies that are causing the motion of the ocean.
It's I think
that's
science is
saying.
suggesting
it. Right. You're specifically saying giant fish like swinger parties are the reason that the ocean moves.
Yes, I'm a comedy and science lion.
Yes.
My official title.
I applaud both these things. I think they're both accurate.
Yeah. Naomi's making a promise to fish that she will not try and destroy them while they are doing it. So I know we have a giant fish audience. So to the fish audience, you can all calm down because Naomi will not try and kill you while it's happening.
Well, apparently this is good for the oceans. Getting them moving helps to circulate nutrients and oxygen. So we do want the anchovies to keep doing their thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Job, fish.
It sounds like Dustin wants them to stop, so maybe it's a battle for
Dustin, how dare you want the environment to suffer?
No,
how could you do that?
I don't want that. Here's what I want them to do. If this is the case, if fish are causing the ocean to move in this way, I grew up on the North Shore, and there are no waves on the North Shore. It's a super boring, like beach scene on the North Shore. So if you're a fish and you want to go do it, hop over to the North Shore of Long Island and do it there, so that people
to the North Shore of Long Island. Don't send them there.
Why not?
Those fish don't want to go there.
I mean, I bet they want to go to the South Shore. I have argued many times that the North Shore.
No, they don't want to go to the South Shore. No.
Right, but there's already motion.
Definitely not.
There's already motion of the ocean down there, so that's what I'm saying. Like, get us some waves up on the North Shore. That way, people can go like surfing and stuff like that. Not me, but other people who might want to surf.
Surfing on Long Island. Wait, what? Where are they surfing on Long Island?
You can surf on the South Shore. You can totally surf on the South Shore.
The South Shore.
If you get the anchovies to stir up enough of a tide.
That's what we need.
Yeah, I think that's what Dustin is getting at.
Right, I'm saying focus it.
It's like a little vacation. The fish, they go away to the North Shore of Long Island. They get busy. They create some waves, and then they go home.
Right. If you're gonna swing or orgy it anyway, do it where it helps people. That's all I'm saying.
Like the fish are like, job well done.
Yeah, we'll throw food in the water. It'll be good. It'll be great. Then you can
start a fish farm after this.
Yeah.
This show.
Oh my god. You start advertising in the back of comic books. Fish or anchovy orgy. Send away.
To your town, fish orgy.
Fish orgy.
I'll bring up
of anything else.
I'll bring up another thing from social. Morning Roast saying, for a fact that a teenage anchovy looked at another teenage anchovy and said, Listen, I just want to turn up some nutrients. Yes, everybody's got their
Nutrients
like,
and chill.
yeah, exactly.
Nutrients.
So many fun comments in chat.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to move on to our third story?
I guess we have
Let's do it.
to.
I feel like I'm hoping that this is the one that like you guys have a hard time tossing it on me, but I know that for a fact that you will anyway because I just said that. All right, so our third story: if you're going to go on trial for stealing a car, what's the one thing you don't do when you're going to the court? That is bring a stolen car. This is the story. Let me find the name of this lady. The story of
You should put them on blast.
Brandy Jones. Brandy Jones was going to court because she had been accused of stealing a car. She went into court. She did her whole like, "Hey guys, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a great upstanding citizen." While she was in court, the police discovered that there was a stolen car in the parking lot of the court, and they said, we're just gonna watch to see who gets in the car. And wouldn't you know it, Brandy Jones got in the car, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing? What the fuck you like?" And then they also found out that in the car was meth and 2 glass pipes for crack. And it was just like, hey, you had like one job to just get there and be like, hey, I'm innocent of this. And like you couldn't have proved harder that you did it.
If she didn't have another car, you gotta.
How do you get there?
Crack is expensive. Exactly,
I mean,
is it?
I thought crack is expensive.
I thought the beauty of crack was that it wasn't. But I don't.
I don't know. I've never purchased crack. I'll go on the record saying I have no idea how much crack it costs.
Yeah,
it sounds expensive.
I just assume all drugs are expensive. That is what my schooling taught me. It was like, don't do drugs. They'll mess you up and they're expensive.
Oh, see, I always thought that the claim to fame of crack was that like people were just like, oh yeah, that's like $1. Yeah, give me all your crack because I have
claim to fame.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have also not ever purchased crack. And hey, chat, you're not going to win this one because I definitely didn't purchase crack. I have a whole show about not getting high. So don't come at me on this one. So I mean, there's not much to the story other than the fact that this silly lady. I'm just curious,
where did this take place? Was this America?
No, this is California.
California,
right?
Okay.
I know, you would think,
right?
Like you think it's some like weird, crazy, like
Florida.
Florida. I was thinking Florida.
Yeah, I did think Florida.
Well,
yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a numbers game. Like it's
Well, and it's like there was sort of a trifecta of things. It was like crazy crime, and then it was like then there was meth in the car, and then there was crime. I'm like, oh, all we need is a gator, and it's Florida.
Right. 9 times out of 10, you guys got it. 9 times out of 10, it's definitely Florida.
Yeah.
And it probably was. Like, probably something has gone wrong here.
In Florida, and then get charged in California is the whole thing. Incredible.
I'm looking at chat and people are still finding ways to come at me, but
I get high.
Well, at least we know these are lies.
Yes,
as far as we know.
Right. Michelle was just saying she respects the dedication to the bit, so that's fine.
It's true.
Morning Russ is asking why get high when you're eating human meat, because
that's true.
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder if the dedication to the bit is about you or about Brandy Jones.
Probably both.
I'm choosing both. Yeah.
Probably both.
You pick these stories.
Right, I do, but I don't. But they're not about me. They're not like they're not all like
Something
confessions.
Speaks to you.
Yeah, then it's crazy to eat people. But there wasn't even a story about eating people. It was a story about chickens eating people. That's
it's a story about people eating chickens with a chicken watching.
Guys, their rule is if I come across a story that has chickens in it, I do it because Heather likes chickens.
That is accurate.
That's how we get
Listen,
chicken stories.
Did I not before this? Dustin was like, "Did you get a chance to look at your story?" And I was like, "No, why didn't I?" And then I said, "Oh, wait, because I already know this story. Like
Right.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Because I follow chicken news. So I've got a network."
Yeah. So that's how that story got there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a Pisces. So
exactly.
There you go.
that's in my
See?
wheelhouse. Yeah.
See?
All right, guys. Let's move in to our What the Fact section. Let's get out of these crazy
World's too
stories.
crazy.
Yeah, and
World's
move
too
into
crazy.
to What the Fact, which brings us to our first question, which is, what electronic item has a much higher profit margin than any of like the Apple items to this day? Like it's an electronic item that we're all aware of. I will give you our choices here, that like makes more money per item by far than anything that like most electronics people are selling. And your choices are the Light Bright, the TI-84 calculator, or the Easy Bake Oven. And Heather, I'm going to come to you first.
I mean, I didn't even think they still made A.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with Easy Bake Oven. Just because of brand recognition. Like,
Okay.
It feels like a thing everyone talks about and, like, everyone has or had at some point.
Okay.
I doubt it's B. Like, who's even using a calculator? And what is that, a graphing calculator? Is that
Yep.
a graphing calculator? Again, I don't do the
Yeah,
math.
It is.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so Morning Roast is going with Light Bright. Naomi's saying she prays to God that it's the Easy Bake Oven.
I kind of do too.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Joy does have a mini Light Bright.
There's mini
Yeah.
Light Brights? Guys, Light Brights still exist? I didn't know that.
Light bright, making things with light.
Leo, what's your guess?
I have owned all three of these things throughout my lifetime. I think the item with the highest markup is any of the TI calculators. Those things are $100
Yeah,
for
and Michelle agrees
per
with you.
device.
Michelle,
And they're like required when you're in those upper level math courses. I had to have one. I used my brother's for a good number of years because we couldn't afford a second TI calculator for me to have a new one.
I do still
They
have
were
it.
so expensive.
I do
No.
still have a TI-85. I'll be honest with you. I still very much do.
Yeah. TI-89. I was
Yeah.
a big fan. But I hope it is Easy Bake Oven, and I'm wrong, but I'm gonna lock in TI-84 calculator.
Okay. And it turns out you are correct. It is the TI-84 calculator.
Wow.
Those things are crazy expensive.
Yeah, and
It's
they're
terrible.
required in like 85 to 90% of schools. That you have to get that specific calculator, so everybody has the same calculator. So they have a crazy monopoly, and they can charge as much as they can charge for like an iPad for something that like is the cheapest piece of crap. But you have to buy it. Like you could do everything you could do on a TI-84 probably on your watch right now if you wanted to, but you're still required to buy it because that's what the schools require you to do. So nobody's
yeah.
talking about the big Texas Instrument like monopoly. Sorry, Leo, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just going to say that we did have a lot of fun in my AP Calc class in high school, drawing pictures and playing games. And you could like connect the cables, like you had Game Boys, and then play games in math class is, very fun. We have fun
Man.
as kids.
I was in all the wrong math classes, clearly. Yes,
all right.
absolutely.
Moving on to question number 2. This is a story from a few years ago, but I still think it's interesting and fun. An Oregon woman named Sadie Rome, or whatever that is, Johnson, admitted to starting a forest fire for what reason? Was it because her firefighter friends were bored? Was it because she slipped in the forest and was like, you know what, fuck these trees, they've got it coming? Or C, because she had an astronaut husband and she wanted to connect with him and she knew that by starting a forest fire, he could see it in space.
Oh, man.
Leo, I'm going to go to you first.
I want them all to be true. I just want it to be all of the above. I'm gonna go with B because that makes me giggle to think of someone falling in a forest and like I'm coming back, and you're all gonna pay for this. This is on you.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. So I'm gonna go with B.
Okay. Joy is gonna go with C. Because trees never deserve it. And Michelle's also going with C for the romance. What about you, Heather? Are you romantic?
If this were Florida, I would pick B, no question, because this person has some definite issues. I mean, at least because B, I just imagine some ornery, very under the influence person that's just like, "You trees, I'm coming for you, trees." Like, that's what I'm picturing. Oh my God, I actually can't decide between A and C because I can see both, because I could definitely see someone just sitting around being like, "Oh, y'all bored? I'll give you." I'm going with A.
Okay.
That it was just a really ill-intentioned way of being like, hey, nothing's happening. Well, we're all friends. I'll give you some action. And
This is for you.
Yeah, Morning Roast agrees with you. They go with A because humans are dumb.
Because humans are dumb, right? Yes.
Guess what?
As we have learned so far today.
Yeah, you guys are right. Humans are dumb. She had a bunch of firefighter friends. They had nothing to do. They were bored, so she started the fire so that they would have something to do. She probably should have asked them before they wanted it.
When you came across this fact, I would love to know if it indicated, like, did she realize that did she intend to start such a big deal fire, or did she think it was just going to be like a tiny fire that they could come take care of?
I think she wanted it to like give them activity. So I don't think she was thinking like acres upon acres, but I think she.
I can't.
You know.
A for friendship, C for romance, B for chaos.
B for chaos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I shouldn't bring it up, but. Morning Roast, Destin, the dumb ones are the most tender. They probably are. And Naomi's asking what her friends probably said in response. They probably said, "You're an idiot. Like, don't do that. I'd rather
Naomi,
be bored."
Boy, do
Right,
I agree,
we could
Naomi.
just hang out.
Yeah, I really want to look up this story and like see if I can find out more about like what the friend's response was, because I also am like, wow.
Yep.
Well, I guess first response is to be a first responder and put out the fire.
Yeah. but then I can also imagine that they're like, oh my God, did she text them? Did she say like, "Hey, get ready.
This is gonna be awesome."
Surprise!
Yeah.
I
Get
got
ready.
something for
Like,
you.
you up? Get ready." And then, or is she like that friend in the group that they're all just like, "Oh no, Sadie, no." I have so many questions.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to question number 3. In early Christian art, what was Jesus depicted as having? Well, this was like right when people were being Christian, and they were doing paintings of him. What did he have? Did he have a beer belly, unlike the rock hard abs that he has in what we've seen? Did he have a soul patch instead of a beard, or did he have a magic wand? I think we've upset Leo to the point of leaving. One of these is true.
I'm not upset. Oh, this is so funny.
So to clarify, is only one of them true? It's not like an all.
Yes.
All are
Yeah,
true?
this is another-
I'm not pulling a trick this time. Only one of these.
Only one of
these are
Okay.
true. Heather, why don't you go first?
Oh my goodness. Early Christian art.
Mm-hmm. For the record, I'll give you social saying Morning Rose is saying C, Michelle is saying C. Joy wants it to be C, but I don't know if that's where her heart is.
So the early Christian art, it was like pro-Jesus early Christian art, I assume.
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
I think I gotta go with a soul patch.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a soul, because I feel like the reason I ask pro or anti is that I feel like a magic wand has always been associated with witchcraft and witchery, and I feel like early Christianity, like, they've historically never been pro witches, as far as I know. So I feel like the magic wand could like represent evil. If it was anti-Jesus art, then I think I'd go with C.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
But I'm also no expert on any of this. So.
Leo, what's your thoughts?
I grew up Irish Catholic. My mom taught like CCD, which is basically like Bible school on the weekends. But Morning Roast established earlier in the chat that I believe in magic, so I am going to have to go with a magic wand to stick with the audience. Although I don't necessarily believe it's true, I just really enjoy the image of magic wand Jesus.
Like water into wine with a magic wand. Yeah.
Yeah, this very Christian girl, when I was in second grade, like said I was going to hell because I read Harry Potter. And she was very like convinced that it's anti-Christian. She also famously stuck a end of a spiral notebook in my eye in that same year.
Oh my God.
By accident.
And she has the right to say what's anti-Christian. Okay. Yeah, I see
exactly,
how it is.
Yeah.
All right.
My greatest nemesis. I have not seen her since I left that town in 4th grade, but you know, I hope she's doing well. Anyway, I'm going to go with magic wand.
Okay.
Very kind of you.
Naomi's adding in, you can tell me Jesus had a wand, and I believe who might say what's magic and what's not true. Also pointing out if it is C, then I hope they use that argument in the witch trials.
Yes, Naomi. Yeah.
And you know what? It is C.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
In early art, he had a magic wand.
Take that, Tina.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tina can suck
Not
it.
going to use her full name.
Watch out, Tina.
Not going to use her full name, even though, boy, is it tempting.
Michelle pointing out, I guess Michelle, since she learned this somehow, but not through her Catholic upbringing. Yeah.
I also did not learn this, and I also did have an Irish Catholic upbringing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did
This
not learn
didn't come
this.
up in Mom's CCD class.
No. Yeah.
I wish I had found the specific art, but I was in a rush. I did find.
I want to look at the art.
I did find an amazing Jesus game that we're gonna. In a future show, we're probably gonna have to play the trailer for, because it is the most incredible and like probably also blasphemous thing that I've ever seen for a game that really loves Jesus Christ. But we will get there at some other time. That's not right now.
Pro Jesus game. That's
it's titled "I Am Jesus Christ," and you play as Jesus Christ.
Isn't that blasphemous?
It feels
that's
like it,
already, right? Isn't it already?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
Right.
that's already.
I'm not in charge. I don't know.
We will play the trailer in a future episode.
Please.
Because it needed more time than we could give it for right now. Which brings us to our third segment, which is Would You Rather? Heather, why don't you kick us off with our first Would You Rather?
Yeah, the one that requires the T184 TI-84 to figure this out. Would you rather live one life that is 1,000 years or 10 lives that are 100 years?
Who you sending it to?
You wrote it. I'm sending it to you.
I didn't. I mean, I find these. I don't write all of them. It's not.
You found it. I'm sending it to you.
Okay. I would probably go with, like, assuming everybody was cool with it and like nobody questioned like, hey, are you a vampire or some shit. I would probably go with the one life for 1,000 years, because I feel like I could, like, no matter what like socioeconomic situation I started out in, I could probably find a way to make my life better and then build like generational wealth out of it, versus like having to start over every time. Like, you don't know, like, if you're gonna get stuck in a place that's like abject poverty, you're gonna get stuck in a place that has like a low infant mortality rate or something like that, where like it's just like a very unpleasant place to be. Whereas if you're like one life, like, and you know that it's going to be 1,000 years long, you can like I will take, like you can do whatever you want to like make it good. I feel like you have the time to make it good. I feel like in a 100-year life, it may take too long to like get out of a really bad situation. I don't know if that all makes sense. I feel like I'm babbling, but that's my point. Is I'm going with one life.
All right, Leo.
That totally makes sense. I'm gonna go with 10 lives for 100 years. I think, I wonder what the effect would be on your body in 1,000 years. Like, how much do you start to deteriorate physically? Because, you know, we hit like 70, 80, and if you didn't take enough care of yourself during the first 30 years of your life, then you're in for a painful remainder of your existence.
Sure. I like to assume that it is like normal till like 22, and then you kind of stick there until the last like the last like 80. So like you're a good age for most of it, that because it's fantasy. So like I assume that you're 22 for like 990 years or whatever it is.
Well, in my fantasy, you're not.
Okay. In your fantasy, you're like 900 years old and you're just like sitting in a corner. Like,
yeah, you look like the old thing in SpongeBob in the chocolate episode, that like brown skeleton thing in the green wheelchair.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then I change my vote. Like, if that's
we all have our own fantasies. Your fantasies are not my fantasies. I'm a Pisces. It's all good. The other thing for me
don't
is,
ever.
like,
I started it, but we should never reference my fantasies on this show because chat will say mean things. So anyway, continue.
Human meat.
Yeah.
The other thing for me, I feel like for me the scariest thing about the end of a life is not knowing what like happens after. If I know I'm coming back, I'm way less scared, at least the first time, and then see what happens there, and then I have a little bit more context, and then I can do the next set of 100 like it's bench presses,
Right. Yeah, and that's Michelle's asking, do we have memories of the previous lives?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up that chat has brought up some really excellent questions about this that, like, to me, like, actually affect the answers or, like, the concept. Because this is an important question, I think.
Well, I mean, it's your question, so why don't you pick? Do you keep the...
Well, so Naomi also said 10 lives, as in, do we live as 10 different people? Or 10 lives similar to a cat, like in theory, like the whole cats have 9 lives and you're always the same life. But then I guess that's the same as being 1,000 years, because 10, right? Is that math right?
Yeah. That's the point. Is that the math equals the same.
The math does equal the same. Okay.
Yeah.
I got there. All right. The important thing is I got there.
Right.
Oh man, this is so tough because the concept of living 1,000 years it could be terrifying, because what if it's like 1,000 bad or painful years and you're just like stuck in 1,000 years? But I am interested in the concept of like, do you remember the other lives in the 10 life thing? Because like, if you have one life that's like not great, but then you know it's going to be over, and then like maybe your next life's going to be super cool, and then you get to like have the good one and then the not good one. Right. And then Naomi's like, live to 10 but not have memories. Right. Do you want the memories? I don't know. I think I'm gonna, oh man. I
am enjoying how difficult this is for you, only in the sense that whenever they're this hard, that it's more fun.
Yeah. I think that I'm gonna go with the 10 lives. Just because there's more, I feel like there's more options, and I feel a little panicky when I think about like the 1 for 1,000.
Yeah.
But I also see a lot of merit in like kind of like what you're saying of like, well, you could have one life and figure things out, and you have 1,000 years to like, 100 years went by and you're like, you know what? I'm not doing what I should be. Like, I've got another 900 800 whatever years to perfect it. But I'm going to go with the 10 for now.
Okay. Because I mean, for me, like, my fear would always be that, like, if you have the 10, in one of those lives, you could be, you know, the kid of a billionaire, and then, like, your life is wonderful the whole time, and, you know, you move on to whatever. But you could also, like, be born in, like, Syria, and, like, you know, be in, like, abject poverty and war, like, your entire life. So, like, you don't know, like, we as people in New York, in the United States, like, are pretty high up there, like, in terms of, like, this would be our current lives would be considered a giant win in the, you know, like, in the roulette of 10 lives. So I would just be so fearful of the other ones. But agreed that, like, the,
well, that's,
you know,
from my perspective, I would love the opportunity to get a shot at seeing what another experience is like. I'm just so curious about the way that different people live and exist. And if I were able to carry the memories forward, hopefully when I did live a more affluent life, if I were fortunate enough to have one of those 10 lives be the kid of a billionaire, then I would want to use that experience and knowledge to help people in a way that's effective just from having that experience.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Chad, what do we want to say Chad's vote was? Is it?
I don't know if I can get a feel on Chad's vote. Well,
yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a consensus. There's a lot of, well, if this was the case, then
there's discussions. Maybe.
All right. We won't give them a vote then. We'll just say that for right now, the 10 lives over 100 years wins, because we're going to call chat. We'll call chat split, which brings us to Leo's question. Go for it.
Would you rather glow bright pink every time you're attracted to someone, or glow bright red every time someone annoys you? Heather, we'll start with you because you did the last one.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go with glow red when annoyed by someone, because I want to imagine this like, I think because I feel like if you're attracted to someone, you may not necessarily want that information public. So, like, maybe you want to hold on to that, and you glow pink, and then it's like, I can't hold on to that. Whereas, like, I feel like there's a certain power in being, like, glowing red and being annoyed, like almost like a superpower or like a bat signal, like, don't stay away, or like creatures in nature that, like, change color when they're like, danger, beware.
Yeah.
I like that, to think of myself as like a poisonous creature that glows red and is like, you're annoying me, stay away. And then they use that signal to be like, Heather's glowing red right now, we should probably stay away.
But think of it okay, sorry.
I was just going to say, I would love to add in an addendum to it that I could, like, squirt ink or something and be like, I told you to stay away.
Like a hedgehog, or you like, or
a pufferfish.
Like the needles come out.
Or any of those, right? Where it's like, well, you ignored the signal, so
But I mean, like, so. But think about, like, that in the work context. Like, both are very awkward in the work context.
I was 100% thinking of that in the work context.
But like, if your boss is, like, saying some shit and it's like, fuck you, person. Like, a lot of times your life is a lot better if you hide that, just in terms of them, like, knowing that you dislike them. Like, because, like, let's say you, well, you know, I'll stop. I'll go when it's my turn. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fight you on it.
Heather, did you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I'm not swayed. I'm sticking with glow red when annoyed by somebody.
Yeah, okay. I also wanted to highlight Michelle in the chat, who said both for the chaos. I think that's very fun.
Oh yeah, Michelle. Yeah.
Now, Dustin, over to you.
Okay.
What do you think?
So,
glow pink or glow red?
So here's the thing. Like, let's say you're talking about the work context. Let's start with the work context. The first time you glow pink when you're attracted to somebody, cat's out of the bag. They know. So the next time you glow pink, so what? They know. We've already established this. You've already essentially been like, hey, I like you. You're pretty. so there's a short-term impact of the attraction one versus the long-term, like where they like eventually that just becomes a thing. Versus like if you glow red every time you're annoyed, then all of your coworkers always know when you're annoyed at them. Your boss knows when they're annoyed at them. Your boss's boss knows when you're annoyed at them. So like that becomes like a new thing every time. Versus this other thing. I mean, there's occasionally that like situation where you're like, I'm attracted to this one person for like 15 minutes. You know, where like they did one thing and you're like, oh, that was pretty cool. You know what? No, I hate them. But for like this right now, and then that would be bad because now they think forever that like you're super into them and you're like, no, you just like did a thing one time that, you know, I was sold on and I completely forgot about it. So like,
well, but would you continue to glow pink, or in that theory, I think you would not glow pink anymore. Like I assume you only glow pink in the moment of being attracted.
Yes, yeah, but I think like.
So there you go.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
and what a great fuck you if you're like, if they're like, didn't you glow pink once? And you're just like, yeah, I did.
You're not attracted
anymore.
to me anymore.
Yeah.
But
do you see me glowing pink?
Right, but I wonder like we'd have to figure out like what the threshold is, because like there are people who you are attracted to that you're not thinking about it at the time. You know what I mean? Like there are people you're attracted to where you could have an interaction with them and the whole time you're not thinking like, oh, you're, you know, like I want to make out with you. Like you can function with them normally. So I think it would have to be like, yeah, I guess to your point, it would have to be like only be like when you are knee deep in the attraction, if you will, like when you're really focusing on it.
Full anchovy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna call it.
So I'm gonna go with you glow pink.
Interesting.
And then Heather, you went with.
I went with glow red.
Glow red. I mean, in both cases, I wouldn't know because pink and red would be so similar that I'd be like, I don't know whether or not you want to hit me or make out with me. So I should have chosen colors that I could differentiate better. But that's just me.
That's true. Color blindness is a thing. So maybe it's not as big of an issue.
Leo, did you answer?
I haven't yet,
okay.
But I will. So from my perspective, my initial reaction is I would probably go with glow red when annoyed. Because for me, attraction is more embarrassing, and I hardly ever voice when something does annoy me. So taking away that responsibility where I have to tell people like, oh, that rubbed me the wrong way, I think could greatly improve my state of being personally. And then, but then, you know, I get annoyed when people say Barnes and Nobles. So that could very quickly backfire on me. It's Barnes and Noble. Unless you're talking possession, that's not the name of the story. The whole thing, one of my greatest pet peeves. I don't know why that is one of my greatest pet peeves, but it is, and I can't lie. I'm turning red now, just talking.
Great. It's a great pet peeve.
I'm already there. I'm already glowing red when I'm annoyed.
Great pet peeve.
But yeah, I think you made some great points, Dustin. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I feel like glow red is gonna do more for me than glow pink.
Okay.
Because I don't want. Feelings are weird and complicated. And I don't want to do that. I'm attracted to people.
It seems like Social is generally on board with that as well. So it looks like.
Yeah, I want to shout out, like, if we have a second, I think Naomi's bringing up some really, really good points that I am in so much agreement with. Because Naomi's bringing up that, you know, being annoyed could lead to, I'm going to just quote her, what she says here. She says, if you get annoyed, that could lead to a conversation that could ease the annoyed mindset. She says, I think the work situation can be a good example because we shouldn't have to be put in situations where we hide our frustrations and not voice them, which to me, Naomi, is like, yes, bing, 100%, that's the goal. I agree. And that's kind of what I thought too. I was like, well, if you are fortunate enough to like maybe work with people who can be like, oh, I see that's frustrating you. Maybe we should work through it. I just think that's great. And then Naomi also says with attraction, it's more your feelings about the other person. And that's not necessarily something you have to both work out together, if that makes sense, which does make perfect sense to me. I think Naomi is like, damn,
every
Naomi.
person I'm attracted to does not need to know that I'm attracted to them. That is a little bit too much for me as someone who often
people
is
who
attracted
refuse
to people
learn that it's Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
Naomi just lawyered that shit.
They should know.
Naomi was all over that.
Well, Naomi also lawyered the Salem witch trials earlier.
That's true.
The magic one.
Really true.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh! Can I share? I dated somebody once who insisted on calling the store Towers Records, and it used to drive me nuts. The old Tower Records. And then I said one day, I was like, it's Tower Records, right? Like, it's not Towers. And the response was, well, I don't care. And now that I know you don't like it, I'm going to keep saying Towers.
I hate that. I hate when people do that.
Obviously not with that person, so.
Yeah, that would turn me red right away. I also when people, if you say like, I don't like being tickled, and then people are like, oh, I'm going to do that all the time.
Oh, I'm going to do it. You
It's
don't?
obnoxious.
Okay. Yeah, see?
It's obnoxious.
Glow red. Glow
Everyone.
red.
Okay.
Glow red. Glow red.
Yeah. Naomi, a regular.
A regular
Elwood.
Elwood. You are an Elwood. You are. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And Joy is in support, saying Naomi should be president of the world. Agreed. Partially because I agree, and partially because it'd be super awesome to know the president of the world. That'd be super fun. Hopefully she'd be nice to us. I think.
Naomi's got my vote for sure.
Cool. All right. Which brings us to our third. Go away. Our third would you rather for the show. Go away vote. Which is would you rather only be able to speak in baby talk, or only have people speak to you with like that baby voice, like, oh my god, look at you, look at that.
What a question.
I'll go to Leo first because I feel like Heather needs to gather herself on this one. Or if you want to go first, you can. But it's too late. It's too late.
I will go first. Oh man, another thing that makes me glow red is being condescended to.
Yeah.
And oh man, I don't think I could live my life being spoken to in a baby voice for all of my interactions. I would go insane. And as much as I don't want to speak in baby talk either, I think that would be a little bit less complicated for me in figuring out, like, I know a little bit of sign language, American Sign Language. So there are ways around that. If I could only go babble, I could figure it out. I could live my life that way. I couldn't live my life being spoken to in a baby.
Okay. Michelle's asking the question, could you write, because you could communicate that way, she would go with A. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, you're a normal functioning human being otherwise. You just could only speak in that kind of way, which you could just write everything, but, like, that would drive me crazy, personally. So you're going with speak in baby talk. Heather, what are you thinking?
I think I'm also going to go with speaking baby talk because I agree. I cannot stand people using a baby voice. And I agree. It is like it feels so condescending when people do that. I can think of people I know. I'd vaguely just say, I can think of a person I know right now in life that does this. And it's so freaking infuriating when they do it. And it is 100% condescending. Like it's so dismissive and condescending. And while it's not fun to speak in baby talk, I guess I could live with it. I'll just pretend I'm talking to the cats, basically. I mean, I definitely dabble in the baby talk with the cats.
Joy is with you, also going with speaking in baby voice, saying, yes, it's like nails on a chalkboard, glowing red.
Glowing red!
Okay. Personally, I would go with being spoken to in baby voice, and here's why. Because I think if I know that it's happening because of magic, which is a would you rather sort of situation, then I could just go like, okay, I am constantly being condescended to, but I'm being condescended to because of magic, not because they think I'm an idiot. Versus if I could only speak in a baby voice and they don't know that it's magic, then everybody will think that I'm like a silly person that would never be trusted with anything, and I would never be able to get like a real job or do anything. So like, I feel like being spoken to in a baby voice, while it would be infuriating, would allow me to live a normal life versus the other one. Depending on whether, like, I guess the question really becomes in, like, where the magic kick in and where does magic not exist.
Yeah, because, like, why wouldn't well, who's to say, if there is this theoretical magic that you've decided exists for the purpose of this question, why can't it go both ways? What if the magic is, like, same? Like, you show up talking baby talk and everyone's just like, oh, no, that's just how Dustin talks. Don't think anything of it. That's just Dustin.
I mean, if everybody would take me seriously no matter what, then I'm with you guys. If it's not, like, if they don't know that the magic is there, then I'd prefer to get spoken to in baby talk. But if I could be, like, if I could communicate with people the way that I do now, but I just had to talk weird, I would probably, like, go with that. So I'm going to not put up, well, I already put up a vote for me. So it seems like the chat is pretty...
A vote for you.
I mean, like, not a vote, you know what I mean? Like a vote at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know.
It seems like chat's pretty heavy on the baby talk one. We got one from Naomi.
Seems like, yeah, chat's going with speak.
Yeah.
Seems to be.
Heather, you want to read that? Because I'm having trouble reading things.
Oh, yeah. Naomi says, I would speak in baby voice because I think I'd be able to get people's attention and respect with words and the meaning I give them. Yeah. Oh, nope. This just in. Naomi has changed her vote and says, I could actually do the baby voice receiving end, though. I switch my vote.
Yes. I convinced somebody.
Would you rather first?
I convinced.
A switch.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It can happen.
Wow.
Well, Will Smith told us all about that. You know the song Switch?
No.
Turn it over. Did it? La la la. You ever seen the movie Hitch? It's the song that plays at the end. It's called Switch, not Hitch. The movie is called Hitch. The song is called Switch, and they're both by Will Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
You are a fountain of songs that I've never heard of.
Pop culture. That's what I do. That's what I do.
That brings us to our last question. That's all we got, folks. That's it. That's our last question. Before we go,
No, can't be.
Leo, let us know, where can we find out more about what's happening with you?
Yeah, I'm all over the news. My name is Brandy Jones. Don't believe what they tell you. Never stolen a car in my life. You can also find me on Instagram at Beeline Owls. It's a nice, confusing, hard to figure out the spelling of it phonetically Instagram handle, but there it is on the screen. Other than that, I'm around. I do stuff in places. But, Beeline Owls is probably the best place to see what I'm up to.
Heather, what about you? What's going on this week?
I think if this week is the 30th, then we have Shot for Shot Twister happening at the Shillelagh Tavern at 8 p.m. on Saturday. And I think that's all I got for this week. Okay. And human beings play parts of the Twister. Like, if that doesn't make you want to come see it, I don't know what will.
Okay, cool. And you can find our social media handle at Super Important Stuff at Instagram. We post all sorts of things, and come check those out. And if you want to see me live, you can come down to QED at 9 o'clock this Wednesday. I'll be performing with Joy Masters, made famous from the chat and also being Joy Masters, and previously on the show. And if you're here, you know her and you love her. We'll be performing QED at I believe it's 9 o'clock on Wednesday. And stick around also here for How Should I Know on Thursday. Again, I've got too many buttons. I want to announce our cast for Thursday, because I like doing that here as soon as I figure out how to do it, which is Sarah Kim, Paul Pilata, and Christine Pinheiro, all three very competitive players that I think are going to be amazing.
Nice. That's a good mix.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Leo, thank you so much for being part of the show. You were amazing. Please come back in the future. We very much enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
And like and subscribe if you're out there. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Thank you so much for being here. I panicked because I always forget like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe, leave a comment, tell us if I am or am not a comedy lion, a comedy fountain. I forget what the other one was, but you can
was
go
a
back
science
and watch
lion.
it.
Science
I
lion.
did forget. This doesn't have a date, but keep an eye out for Harry Styles themed sketch show written by Audrey
That's
Sprouse. I'm going to be appearing in that
We're both in that.
eventually. That's true. We are both in that, and some of the people in the chat as well are in that.
Also, yes.
So something to keep an eye out for. Does not yet have a date.
I think like June-ish is the like
that's
June-ish.
The vibe. June-ish is the vibe.
The vibe is like June sometime. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Cool. All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week with more amazing guests. And thanks so much, guys. Have a good one. Bye.